How you doing, everybody? Azrod here, or Tom, or Arcader Zero, whatever you want to call me. I want to talk a little bit about a game system that I'm starting to really, really enjoy. And it could be one of the best game systems ever. Um, that's my opinion. I am talking about City of the Mist. So I'm going to do a little bit of review of City of the Mist because that was their first foray into the role playing game world, and it's kind of based off uh, Powered by the Apocalypse. I think it's more inspired by. I would take it instead of playbooks. You get these different ability sets that you can build up. But it is a very capable game system. One of the things I like about it, it is they say it's very cinematic. That's true, and I enjoy a role playing game uh, that leans more towards the cinematic side. And this is probably one of the most. So I really enjoyed Cortex Prime. I enjoyed Tiny D6. I think we have a lot more fun at the table because combat doesn't last for 2 hours when fighting three people and everybody's trying to decide, well, how many spell slots do I have? What are my resources? How many points do I have to pay into this? Do I have enough points? Um, and it still works. The system still works. The system is basically you roll 2d6 and you have these descriptors on your character sheets which add power onto that 2d6. Um, and those descriptors could be anything, trained in martial arts. I work better at night. It could be anything that helps describe your character and give your character a little bit more depth than just everybody has a rating and straight out skills. And I think that's very interesting. So you roll your 2d6, you add your power, and if you get a 6 or below, the action failed, what you're trying to do. If you get a 7 to 9, you kind of succeed, but you get mixed results. Maybe you hit the person and the person hit you back. Maybe you hit the person, you don't do as much damage. Um, Maybe you're sneaking around and you get inside the place, but you made a noise and somebody might come investigate it. So it leaves a lot to the game master, and the game master doesn't do any rolling in this system. The game master is basically your they call it master of ceremonies, an MC. He or she is guiding the story along. And let's say if he wants a mob of people to attack you, he's going to say they're going to attack you and do this amount of damage. Then it's up to the player to say, well, I want to avoid that. So I'm going to face that danger and I'm going to make a roll to either escape or fight it or whatever they want to do or distract them. The options are pretty much limitless, really based upon your imagination. And that way the system really works. I enjoy the system a lot. The City of Mist, the actual setting for it, I like it. I wish it would come out with a more like settings agnostic rule system. Hopefully they'll do that because they're making some changes. They've got two new role excuse me. They have two new role playing games coming out. They have Otherscape with Metro Otherscape and Tokyo Otherscape, which is cyberpunk fantasy, much kind of in the lines of Shadowrun. And they also have um, Legends in the Mist, which is kind of their Dungeons and Dragons take, their fantasy type game, and that looks fantastic. I haven't seen all the new rules changes with Otherscape. I'll be getting my hands on the PDF hopefully April 1st or 2nd, somewhere around there. I did back them on Kickstarters, both those games. Um, and I'm really excited for Otherscape because I'm a huge Cyberpunk fan. So I'm really looking forward to what they do with that system in that setting. So, City of Mist, the setting is you play a regular person in a city, kind of landlocked by mist, a mystical mist, or no one really knows what the mist is, but an avatar attaches itself to you. So it's kind of like a superhero game, but the avatar could be anything. It could be, um, the god Mercury, god of speed. It could be it could be Winnie the Pooh. It could be almost anything you can imagine from your imagination and from literary history. It could be Jason Voorhees. You could have the avatar Jason Voorhees, and that story is trying to live itself out. So it's very interesting in that aspect. Um, and so you've got some normal abilities, your routine abilities, and then you also have your, which they call the logos, and then you have your mythos part, which is trying to take over. And there's a balance there that if you lose all your mythos, you go back to being a sleeper and you have no idea that anything ever happened, anything fantastic. Or if you lose all your logos, all of a sudden you become the avatar of this thing and it finally took over. And and that's pretty much game over for you. The Mist is constantly rewriting reality. Um, so when somebody sees you use your fire powers or something like that, um, the people might report, oh, I think the guy had a blowtorch, because it's constantly re-editing people's memories. And what the Mist is that they don't really tell you. There is a separate book here that kind of goes into it. Shadows and Showdowns, another great book. By the way, all the art is freaking fantastic in these books, and the layout is great. They do such a good job with everything in here. They're fantastic books just to have on your bookshelf. But The Mist is something that they really leave up to the MC. It could be mystical in origin. It could be science. Okay, you could be part of an experimentation. It could be virtual reality. It could be something like the Matrix. Um, but the thing is, you can never leave the city. Okay, the Mist always gets you back. So in that book that I just showed you in Shadows and Showdowns, they have rules for playing agents of the Mist who are constantly going around. So it's sort of like Men in Black. It's kind of cool. So they got a lot of cool things in there. Once again, I do like it. I just wish it was a little bit more agnostic. They come out with like a straight supers system or setting at least. I think that would be very cool. Um, but it gets two thumbs up from me. Have you played City of Mist? What do you think of it? There's tons of videos. They release tons and tons of content um, describing the system and going over how combat works. And it's very easy. The only tough part I have in my head wrapping around is advancement, because there's things called fade and crack and everything else. And then once you fill up enough of one resource, you wipe it out, and then you can choose an improvement. It's not too bad. It's There are obviously games that are much more complex. Um, games like Champion, where you have to build everything from scratch with points and everything else. It takes a lot more. This is a lot more accessible, especially for new gamers out there. And I think it's a better option. Is it my favorite system? It's getting there. Tiny D6 Cortex Prime, and I guess they're going to call it the Mist Engine. That's what they're calling it for now until they actually come up with a real name for it, or maybe they'll just stick with that name. Yeah, it's one of my favorite systems out there, so it's in top three. Um, Cortex Prime, still one of my favorite systems, but they just haven't been supporting it. There hasn't been a lot coming out for it. So I don't know if it's a dead system now. I did back one game on that, but on Kickstarter, hasn't come in yet, and it's been a while. I'm sure it'll come in at some point. But they raised tons of money for Legends of the Mist. The Foundry Virtual Tabletop is awesome for it. The Foundry Virtual Tabletop for City of the Mist is really good. I can't say enough about it. Check it out if you're a fan of supers or mysteries or anything like that, role-playing games. If you're a fan of cyberpunk, I think this is going to be one of the best cyberpunk books ever written. Um, you know, put my money where my mouth is. No, I won't. I don't have that much money to deal out to people. But check it out. Let me know what you think. Hit like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff you do on YouTube. Help me out. Got lots of medical bills to pay. Hope everybody's doing well, and I'll talk to you soon.